So we finally built it. This is a comparison of two websites from inside Salesforce. We are going to extract data from it using a product called Firecrawl, and then we will send it to AI using GPTfy and get results. So I am on this opportunity record, and I've added two custom fields to it, competitor website 1 and 2, and I have Yahoo and GPT. It doesn't matter, I'm just doing this. And here is the drop down. This is GPTfy. I'm gonna select this prompt and run it. And what's happening at this point is GPTfy is connected to an Apex class using what we call API data source. And essentially what it does is it's going to call Firecrawl, get information, send it to AI, and get a response. So it's doing this. And again, this is an MVP demo. So it's not fully optimized. We should have gotten like company 1 and company 2. We should have gotten GPTfy and Yahoo with it, which I did the last time. So I think we haven't optimized the prompt. I'm going to show you the last one. So as you can see, these are the results. Company 1 is Yahoo, second is GPTfy, and it's starting to basically do all of this, right? It's doing a comparison. Again, it's a very basic thing. The point is because you can scrape this data and you have AI, you can do a heck of a lot more. I'm doing this purely in the interest of time, right? So you've got this unique strength or whatever focus areas, key differentiation, all of that. And the question is, did we fake it or did it actually run like this? So I'm going to show you what it looks like at the bottom. And while it's coming up, a shout out to Kalanithi or master on my team. I wrote the Apex classes in some of it, and I was on a plane, got lazy, had a red eye, went to bed, but master took it up and he basically did the last part of it. So thank you, master, for doing that. So once it comes up, you can see I'm on the security audit record and my prompt is here. It's a pretty simple, straight up prompt. It's saying, hey, I've got this input, this, format it, do a bunch of things and extract and do this. So that's what it is. In terms of context, when I ran it, this is the JSON that we got back from Firecrawl. And this is the JSON that we then used along with the prompt to send to AI. And basically AI returned this raw response that you're looking at here, the lot of information. And this is the formatted version that GPTfy created. And this is what got presented to you, right? This is what we were looking at earlier, this response. So that's basically it in terms of doing it. And let's look under the hood. So this is Firecrawl. This is what we used. I got the API keys. I just signed up for the trial account. And I went to ChatGPT and asked it to write me Apex classes because I can't write Apex to save my life. But thank God for technologies like ChatGPT and Claude. So anyway, I had it write this and basically it's got like an API key. I created the remote site setting in Salesforce and basically my Apex class was able to start getting it. The next thing I did is I created inside GPTfy what is known as an API data source. So this is my data source here that I created. And what you do in API data sources, you can actually specify a connector class. And what GPTfy will do is it will invoke this class and basically let this class do whatever it does. The result of this class, along with information from Salesforce, is what's sent to AI. So GPTfy pulled up the fields on opportunity, the competitor site 1 and 2, and sent it to this class, got the result, sent it to Apex. Very powerful way of bringing in any third-party data. And you can see there is a bunch of others that we have. You can build this custom all day long. So anyway, this is what was in the API data source. The next thing we did is we created a prompt, and for that we created a data mapping. This is my data mapping here. I'm going to open this so that you can see it. I'm going to go to reconfigure. Again, mostly declarative because we're using Apex for APIs. Otherwise, it will be completely declarative. So in my data context mapping, I specified that API data source that I have. So that's how GPTfy knows. Then the other thing I'm going to do in this data context mapping is I'm going to tell it what fields to process, right? So if I go to field mapping, what you will see is these are the fields on which this was running. Again, very declarative. If it's standard fields, custom field, managed package fields, whatever you have, you can get it. In my case, it's these two fields. I could have masked it. Doesn't apply here, so I didn't do it. But you have all of that ability to do. Very simple to do. So once you have done that, then we went back and let's take a look at the prompt itself. So my prompt is pretty simple here, right? This is what we were looking at earlier. I have just put it here. I use AI extensively to even write my prompt. And it's really easy because I write some prompt. There is a much data on the extraction. So I can send it a copy of the data and I can say, hey, here's my prompt, here's data, here is the output. I want a different output and use AI to generate that out. So that's really it on this front. Obviously, there's an Apex class that you were looking at earlier. And all of this leads to here. My point is, I spent about 30, 40 minutes on the Apex front, and then my colleague spent probably an hour or so just putting it together. But look at how quickly you can go from just an idea to actually a demoable concept using AI. Technologies like GPTfy are really changing this field because you can be really straightforward in how quickly you access all of this information. And the richness of some of these things is not some genius product like GPTfy. It is all of these AI models that the world is creating right now, right? So you have the ability to weave in OpenAI, Anthropic Claude, something on AWS, something on Google Cloud, something on Microsoft Azure, your own. You can run Meta Llama or whatever you like. And basically what you're able to do is really quickly connect to any new model. And by doing that, you're able to move forward and drive this innovation into your organization. So if I go back to my prompt in the configuration, what you will see is that is where it has the AI model that it's connected to, and you can set temperature and do all of that. So that's really like a quick view of how we did this. Very curious to hear if you have any comments, and if there are other such interesting use cases you'd like to see, send it my way. I'm traveling for a few more days. Who knows, I'll try it on another plane or at an airport, or maybe I'll go back home and try it. Thank you so much.